Here's the thing about the newest Jubilee video, right? Jubilee has got to be kicking themselves, bro. They've got to be kicking themselves for the for the fact that they released this video, pro-Biden Democrats versus anti-Biden Democrats, 2 days, no, the day before. It was the day before Biden dropped out, because this dropped on Saturday. So Saturday, Jubilee releases this video. Sunday, Biden drops out. The timing is timinging. The timing is timing is time minning. Timinging. Timing. Timing. I don't know how to say that word. I don't know what I don't I don't know how to do the ing with an ing. Like if I were to say the baddies are baddying, but if I have an ing before the ing, I don't know how to make that work. Anyway.
The issue here, though, is if we were in the escape room.
So here's the thing. I know Destiny's on this episode. Destiny's was pretty pro Biden. I think that Biden was a good choice to run against Trump. Like I'm gonna say that Biden as a Trump appointee is fine. Or appointee. Biden as a Trump opponent is fine. Is Biden my favorite candidate? No. So let's watch the...
All of the young people would be sitting in the corner watching the old people trying to solve the puzzle and then judging them for it. The issue is young people just don't vote.
Welcome back to Middle Ground. My name's John. I host the Radical Empathy podcast. We know you...
Why Middle Ground gets so hardcore with the theme song? Hold up a second. Can we peep that? That's actually... That theme song was kind of a banger, bro. That was kind of a banger.
Old people trying to solve the puzzle and then judging them for it. The issue is young people just don't vote.
Welcome back to Middle Ground.
From what I know, latest on Destiny's, I'm pretty sure he said there should be a ceasefire. I don't know that absolves some of the other stuff he said. Like, I don't think that would absolve it, but I'm pretty sure he's said that there should be a ceasefire.
My name's John. I host the Radical Empathy podcast. We know you requested this episode. You've seen the pro-Trump versus anti-Trump Republicans middle ground. I will moderate today's discussion between pro-Biden versus anti-Biden Democrats.
Are you going to moderate this one? Because you didn't moderate the last one, homie. No offense to you. I have no issues with you whatsoever, John. But you did not moderate the pro-Trump versus anti-Trump debate. That one was wild. That debate was wild. So, like, I'd love to see you moderate this one a little more, although I don't know that this one will get as heated as the last one.
First prompt is, Biden is a moral man. If you agree with this prompt, step forward.
Biden is a moral man. I probably wouldn't move forward because I would say all presidents are immoral. Like, to be the president of an imperialist nation requires some level of immorality, or what's the word I'm looking for? Like blindness, maybe. But yeah, so no, I don't know that I would say Biden's a moral man, but I wouldn't say any president is moral.
I was going to say, I think when we talk about morals, we should talk about intention. And I think that if you say he's a moral man, you're saying that he has good intentions with what he's doing. And I think that matters more importantly than what...
I think the question is so nuanced that you can't answer it yes or no. Personally, I don't know that this is a question that can be easily answered, right? At least in a yes or no. Like, how do I answer, do I think Biden's moral? Like, I mean, me, no, but like, right? Others are going to align with his morals, so they're going to say yes. Like, okay. I have weird question. Also a question that like doesn't make, like, why is this the starting question? Like, I don't understand why this is the starting question personally.
I don't think intentions matter quite as much as impact. I mean, people can have, like, look at Reaganomics. Reagan had the best intentions. for Reaganomics, for his morals, but the impact of it was that it basically f***ed our country permanently.
Do you really
What's he gonna say? Wait.
believe he had the best intentions when Reagan?
I believe he thought he
believe
had
in
the
the
best
trickle down.
I believe he thought he had the best intention.
Okay. Okay. I agree. Impact over intention, right? Reagan's intentions were absolutely to destroy lower class and people of color. So I would just Reagan knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, and especially if we're going impact over intent, then every president is guilty. Every president is guilty in my eyes.
He honestly just seems like a loving father that's like trying his best, is encouraging his son to like get help. And I've never seen personally anything come from his wife or from his family or from people around him that seem to imply that he might be of bad moral character inside.
Yeah, again.
Okay. I understand what Destiny is saying here. Totally understand what he's saying. In comparing Biden to the Republicans, I would say Biden is more moral. Biden seems to be more, actually, I wouldn't even say moral. Biden is more ethical, in my opinion, than the Republicans. However, once I largen that scope and I see that the US is still involved in destroying the global South, the US, a country he is the head of, and he's allowing this to happen, I would go back to probably not moral, right? If you're allowing the death of the global South, it's probably not a moral thing, right? You're probably not the most moral person. That's just my opinion.
And
But I don't
just
like this
think
question. I also don't like this question. This question sucks, in my opinion.
it depends on each individual person's definition of moral.
Let's bring in our disagreeer, just so I can add it.
It's relative to each person, because if you ask a Zionist person what the moral
He'd be
stance
doing the
is,
moral thing currently.
he'd say
Yeah.
that
Of
they'd say
course.
that he's doing the moral thing. If your morals align with a
I'm gonna agree with like everything that's being said, but piggybacking off of what Rebecca is saying, it's morality is too subjective to have this question. It's too subjective, bro. Is Biden moral? Not to me. Somebody else's morals might. Now, then we have to get into a conversation of like, well, whose morals are correct? We have to have a conversation of moral relativism. Like, and it's just too. I think this question's doing too much.
I trust.
By the way, I don't think there's anything. Jones raid. What's up? I don't think there's anything. I don't believe the phrase unbiased news. I don't believe it anymore. To be honest with you, I don't know that I've necessarily seen unbiased news in like the last like 4 years. Well, okay. I've seen unbiased reporting, but I've not seen a company that is unbiased. Let me say it that way. Anyway.
The Biden.
Us on this episode. Now, let's get back into it.
I trust the Biden administration. Will the agreeers please step forward?
Hell no. I don't trust any political organization administration. What? Hell no.
I don't see any reason not to trust the Biden administration. It's, I mean, can any of you guys think of like lies? Or I don't know, people bring up things like they misled us with Dr. Fauci or something weird, but I've been following the Biden administration pretty closely, and I haven't seen any examples of them trying to purposefully mislead us. May have gotten something wrong here or there, but that's why.
Again, I just don't trust any political administration. I just don't trust, like when I say I don't trust the Biden administration, what I mean by that is I don't believe that the Democratic Party and their administration's actual goals are helping the working class and like helping the worker. I believe that the goal is for them to make as much money as possible, but they view that the only way they can maintain that power and maintain that wealth is by making it appear and maybe even doing some things to help those groups of people, right? So this is where I would say, this is why I would say I don't necessarily trust them, because I don't think their actual stated goals are what they actually are trying to do. Does that make sense?
The one thing I don't like is statements like Kamala Harris that go against the Biden administration when it comes to Israel and Gaza. I don't like the idea that at the UN we're saying that.
What I don't know what he means by that, because Kamala, to my knowledge, has been very pro ceasefire. Is he saying that she shouldn't be pro ceasefire? I don't know what that means. I wish you had expanded on that.
We're looking for a humanitarian pause, but then sometimes going back and forth on that. I trust them, but I just think that sometimes it feels like we have contradictory statements within the within the cabinet, and I think that's something that we should hold them accountable for. But other than that, it's like, yeah.
Raising your hand, go for it.
Okay. You shouldn't trust anybody in the government ever. Certain times they might have a policy that's good, but no matter what, if somebody offers them, hey, $2 billion, they'll take it. A Biden administration cannot be trusted. Anybody that supports genocide cannot be trusted. Anybody that supports taking away, you think that he's for our rights, but he's really not. They're trying to ban regular cars. They're trying to ban regular planes by 2030. They're literally stripping away our rights, just like they're...
Well, we probably should ban gasoline cars. Like, electric vehicles have hit a point technologically that we probably don't need gasoline-powered cars, right? We've probably hit that point. So I'd kind of disagree on this, right? I don't think the government banning gasoline-powered cars is a violation of our rights, right?
Republicans are trying to.
Yeah.
Do you trust any?
Yeah.
What do you trust?
Devin, just to could we tease out what specific things.
Yo, me too, bro. Me too, bro. She was doing so well. I was so with her.
What specific criticisms?
This is why I can't. This is why I couldn't be on Jubilee, because I'd be the same as him. I'd start cracking up, bro. She said God. Like, I get it, but like.
Just like the Republicans are trying to.
Yeah.
Do you trust any?
Yeah.
What do you trust?
Devin, just to could we tease out what specific things, what specific criticisms do you have like that are unique to Biden as opposed to just all?
Let's see. He speaks of COVID that was created. Fauci was part of that, like he was the AIDS scamdemic. My grandmother and several other people listened to him and took the vaccine and died. So yeah, I don't trust him after my grandmother, who's never been sick ever a day in her life, got a COVID vaccine and died.
Whoa! 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 The ball just dropped so hard! Bro! What? No way!
I think if you're going to bring up the AIDS pandemic, then I'm going to bring up the.
Fauci. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I would say that.
Okay, hold on. Now, I haven't done much research on the AIDS pandemic, but to my knowledge, AIDS wasn't a planned thing. The problem was that because of how underrepresented the queer community was, the medical community just didn't give a shit about them. So, like, they didn't give a fuck. And that's why a lot of queer people suffered under the AIDS pandemic. Not that it was some planned genocide. I don't know that I would agree with that. But I would agree with the fact that, like, care for that community was absolutely abysmal. They didn't receive the type of care they needed. They didn't receive any of that. I would absolutely agree with this. But would I agree with it was like a planned government virus? No.
I personally I'm a person who likes to have fail safes. Like I don't see that happening. I didn't see that.
I would answer this question so differently. Like if they were like, do you trust the Biden administration? I'd say, no, I don't trust any head of an imperialist empire that destroys the global South. No, I don't trust anyone that heads that. Absolutely not. Not unless you absolutely destroy the imperialist empire. That's like saying during the 100-Year War in Avatar, yo, do you trust the Fire Nation? No. Do you trust Fire Lord Ozai? No. He's imperialist. No.
But I don't necessarily trust anybody blanketed, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, I think when it inhibits you from voting or being active, then you're just not participating, and that to me is also unacceptable.
Yeah.
But I do think that there has to be some discernment, and I chimed in at this point, one, because I'm a disagreeer and I wanted to give my input at that and take that opportunity, but two, when it comes
I like everything she's saying. Can we just go back to the other one for a second? I really want to hear more. Maybe just because it's comedic, but I'd really like to hear more from this other woman again. I'd really like to. I really want to hear about this.
comes to not voting, as you guys said, that is why I did not come and sit down and say that I trust the Biden administration, because I think that we have this exceptionalism in this. And we're waking up because of the things that's happened in the last 5 years to, we're going to get somebody in office and they're going to take care of us.
So Biden couldn't have codified Roe v. Wade because you have to remember, so he is correct. It does take 60 votes, but you have to remember that a lot of the Democrats in Congress are centrists. They actually don't want abortion codified. You got to remember this.
And they're going to resolve everything. And at the end of the day, I don't care what you believe, whether you're pro, I don't even care if you're a Trump supporter. We have to get out of that mentality and we have to be active.
Right. I also think you have to be really careful when people talk about trusting or distrusting the government. I think a healthy level of skepticism is important for everything. But when people say things like, I don't trust anybody that works at the FBI, I don't trust anybody that works in this administration, I don't trust anybody that works at the FDA, there are like millions of people, depending on how local or federal you want to get with the government, that are employed by the government. Most people are just trying to do what they think is right.
For sure.
Most people that are employed by the government are trying to do what they think is right. This idea that all of them are like kind of like colluding against the American public to harm you in some way. Not that I don't think anybody's expressed
that. But that's the thing. Okay, wait. I don't disagree that there are a lot of people in the administration whose only goal is to help the American people. But that's my issue. Their only goal is to help the American people. That's what I have an issue with, right? Again, America is still decimating other countries to maintain our global foothold in the world. So that's going to be where my contention is, right? Right? My contention is going to be all of the all of these administrations, like if you were like, Javon, did you trust the Trump administration? No, they were drone striking Yemen, right? Killing innocent people, right? No, why would I trust an administration that does that and then hides the evidence? Well, not hides the evidence, but you know what I mean. We're gonna say, Javon, do you trust? Like, I can't think of a presidential administration ever since World War II that hasn't been involved in some sort of imperialist decimation of another country, and that doesn't happen without the president's no knowledge. That doesn't happen without the president's knowledge. And most likely without their say-so, right? So I don't trust any administration like that, right? I do trust that there are people inside like smaller pockets in the administration that are just there to help, right? They just believe in the system, and they're just there. But like when I'm talking about, do I trust the Biden administration? I need to look at it from like the head of the Biden administration and what the head of the what the head of the party is in line with. That's what I have to look at.
Because the system is so fucking broken that it beats them down. I've seen it happen to so many people, so many good people who really have those good moral values, who are like, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna change the system from inside. And they're just so broken down by the end of it.
You asked me earlier.
You can't change the system. Listen, as a commie, as somebody who studies and glazes marks and angles, I don't believe you can change the system from the inside. I don't believe you can vote enough I don't think you can vote away capitalism, which I believe to be like one of the biggest reasons that causes half of these issues. I don't believe you can vote away capitalism, right? I do believe you can vote to make capitalism slightly better for more people. At least domestically. I don't think you can do it globally. So this is why when I'm looking at am I going to vote in the presidential election? Probably. Am I going to vote for Kamala? Probably. Is it done out of protest? Yeah. I'd rather not, but I recognize that I can make capitalism slightly better for a couple people. So, or I can make it worse for more people. Like I have that option, but this doesn't mean I believe that voting is going to fix anything. No, the only thing that's going to fix anything is fucking Viva la Revolution, baby.
Why do you think they don't vote for Democrats?
I think that people feel forgotten, and I don't think that they feel protected by the Democratic Party. I know a lot of the people of color that I've talked to feel as though they are spoken over by white Democrats, and that kind of alienates them from a lot of the Democratic Party, because a lot of the Democratic Party, even though we are more diverse than the Republican Party tends to be, they still feel spoken over and they don't feel represented. And so it's like constantly choosing between.
Wait, so I want to address that. I want to address that real quick. I fully understand people that don't want to vote for a Democrat nominee. I fully understand people that want to vote third party. I'm not going to tell anybody what way they should or should not vote, especially if those people come from a marginalized community. However, we can't in the same breath say you can't vote out capitalism and then refuse to vote in the capitalist system. In my opinion, this is my rationale for me, right? Not saying this is my rationale for anybody else. Not saying this works for anybody else. When I'm looking at what my vote will or will not do, I want to keep it in the context of the material reality that we live in. Will my vote end capitalism? No. Will not voting end capitalism? No. Will voting third party end capitalism? No. Doesn't matter who you vote in third party. It's not going to end capitalism, right? So when I view this in terms of what I want to do, right, I have to see where can I put my vote to mitigate the most amount of harm. I'm always thinking about harm reduction in every instance. What is going to minimize the most amount of harm? And in our current system, domestically, that's Democrat. Now, is this going to minimize harm globally? Probably not. Probably not. But I can only do so much globally, right? Because, like, even if, like, again, I don't believe there is any way to vote out capitalism. I think it's impossible. I think capitalism will not end until the workers get frustrated enough to revolt. I do not believe we can vote out capitalism.
We need somebody more progressive for president. Will the agreeers please step forward?
Yeah, I personally am of the.
We need what are these questions? We need somebody more progressive. Okay. We need somebody more progressive. I think we need somebody more left. I don't necessarily say I'd say more progressive, right? Because, for instance, you could have a Republican that's super progressive on social issues. That's like super progressive on social issues, right? You could have a Republican that's super progressive in this regard, but is still highly conservative economically, right? So what do we need? Someone more progressive? I don't like the non-nuance of the question.
I don't see that being effective when every year the conservatives get more and more conservative. And the Democrats, from what I have seen, just continue to kowtow to it and be like, okay, well, we'll give you an inch, they take a mile. Okay, we'll give you another inch, they take another mile. How many?
But this is the issue with our system, right? This is the issue with a two-party system. Personally, I think if you're gonna have a political party system, it's gotta be three or more that have equal control. Like, honestly, Republicans, Democrats, and then there should be a third party that, if we're splitting Congress and the Senate, it should be split into three. It should not be split 50-50. You know what I mean? Not that the numbers are 50-50, but it shouldn't just be these two parties, right? So that you just have that contention every time. This is the fault of our system. They have to concede on things unless they had total control and were a vanguard, right? They have to concede on things to get people to vote.
overturning Roe versus Wade. That terrified me. And again, that's a moment where I don't hold Biden accountable for that. He's not the one who stacked the Supreme Court. That is also a problem of the Democratic Party. I do think that certain Democrats should have resigned before getting so sick that they died in office and leaving that position open for a Republican.
She right. She right. She right.
Incumbent.
Well, the fact that you have lifetime appointments is problematic in itself.
Exactly, but that's another thing. Why are we not making changes to those kinds of policies?
I want to say.
I feel like I don't have anything else.
You guys
Okay,
can say what you want. You can judge me.
I'm gonna let her go in a sec. Oh no, I don't know what she's gonna say. I'm gonna let her go, but like I don't feel like I don't have anything else to add to this prompt, right? Like I can.
Devin wanted to.
Sorry.
I want to say, you guys can say what you want. You can judge me if you want. And I know it's going to come down between Biden and Trump. I'm not voting. And I know that you can say whatever you want to judge me. We're either way, in my opinion. So, like, honestly, I hope Jill Stein will get a chance, which she won't because the 1% runs the world. But I don't have faith in either one of them. I cannot, in good
But Devin,
faith.
why are you here?
Why are you here is crazy. But yeah, I agree. The 1% runs the world. I agree with that. But why are you here is so funny.
I know.
Because I am Democrat originally, but I want to see the party grow. But I really hope that a miracle can happen.
I have to just
what-
say,
but-
especially
The World
that's-
Economic Forum and Big Pharma got their hands in everything.
Devin, I appreciate you responding to my assertion, and then I cut you off.
Oh,
we're gonna
thank
move
you.
on.
Sorry. Wow, you're good at your job. Yeah, I was just going to say, no, I'm willing to admit it's an emotional.
Listen. I think it is wrong to dog someone for how they vote. I think it is wrong to shit on someone for the way they use their vote. I think we can't sit here and claim that we want open and free elections, then get mad at people for openly and freely electing. Okay? Full stop. No buts. No, that being said, none of that. I think it is the wrong decision to dog someone for how they vote. Especially if that person is from a marginalized group. Especially. People from marginalized groups can react to their oppression by voting in whatever way they see fit to react to their oppression. Full stop. I made a post recently on Instagram where I said, if black women are excited for Kamala, let them be excited. I don't want to hear nothing. And most of that post is white people responding, but you don't understand. She did this to the black community. She did actually. I'm like, you are not a part of this community. You do not get to decide whether black women are excited or not to see some sort of representation. Fuck out of here. What do you think this is? I would legitimately say the same thing if Candace Owens was running. I would say you don't get to tell black women whether they should or should not be excited. You don't get to, as a white woman, make that decision. Fuck out of here. You can have your contentions, as I do with Kamala Harris, but you don't get to tell black women whether they are or should not be excited for representation. Fuck out of here with that shit. I'll fucking fight tooth and nail for that, bro. Tooth and nail. I'll stand 10 toes down on that.
The shooting at Trump's rally will change the course of the election. Will the agree?
I mean. This is the Biden supporters versus Trump supporter episode.
Biden is supporting genocide. Biden is supporting genocide. Agreeers, step forward.
This is where this one is gonna get, oh boy.
Characterization.
The international legal, like the not the UN,
ICC?
but the ICC has agreed that it
ICJ.
is a genocide.
Crimes against humanity.
They also several years ago.
So this is gonna get. I have a feeling this is gonna get. So when they say that there's plausibility in committing a genocide, that's not saying that they did commit a genocide. It's that there is plausibility that they are. So I understand and I agree that they are, right? But don't bring this up in a debate and go, oh, hey, the ICJ proved that they were plausible in a genocide, so that means they're doing a genocide. No, it just means that according to the ICJ, there's a reasonable or probable suspicion that they did, which is a really weird, like, can we just acknowledge that that's kind of weird for the ICJ to even say? Like, it's kind of weird to be like, there's plausibility that they did it. Like, what isn't the point of the court to take a stance? But I understand. So there's a difference. There's a difference here to understand, and it's that like the charges brought against Israel from, I think it was South Africa, were not that they committed a genocide. That was not the charges. The charges were, and the fact check's accurate here, war crimes and crimes against humanity. So that's why when they say that they're plausible in a genocide, I guess it's because, the genocide wasn't the charges. Yes, the ICJ did come out recently and say that they are in agreement that Israel is doing illegal colonial settlements. So you can make the very clear, I think through that ICJ case, the most recent that happened a couple days ago, you can make the case that they're definitely an apartheid state, 100%. If you're using that, right? I don't use the ICJ case to make my declaration that's a genocide. But if you are using that to make your declaration as genocide, it's going to make the case weaker.
But Biden continuously keeps letting them, if you're so against it, stop the money. Go to Congress, try to have the money stop being sent there for war. They put a dock there in Gaza. The humanitarian aid they're giving them is not even real food. Mm-hmm. They're giving them bullshit. If you really cared about the people, he would treat them better. He wouldn't just sit there and look like a fucking retard and go smell kids all day.
Kind of what.
Oh, that's not. That's not that's not.
So well, I mean, eradication could mean a lot of different things. It could mean that they've lost so much. They've lost so much capability that another organization is able to take over. It could be that the PA or the PLO is brought back in, and somehow they're able to govern. It could be that the IDF has some temporary administration there for a few months while it's handed over to another group.
It just seems tough to allow civilian casualties to go on.
So, okay. I think there's nuance here that is missed from a lot of what Destiny says. Now, I don't watch Destiny religiously. I'll take a look at some of his videos sometimes if he's debating somebody I'm interested to see. I think the nuance that I feel is missing from this conversation is that when it comes to can Israel effectively remove Hamas, I would say no. Or would I say yes? I would say yes, comma, but they are going to build further resistance in their place. How can you live in an area where you see, even if Hamas is in control of the Gaza Strip, right? Which I don't fully, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't fully agree with this assertion. But even if Hamas was fully in control of the Gaza Strip, if I go into a country and I wipe out 180,000 people in that country, and I do so using methods that are considered war crimes, if I drop white phosphorus, if I indiscriminately harm women and children, if I do all of this, does it not make sense that the people left are also going to be radicalized to fight against me as an imperialist nation trying to enter this country? Does this not click? And I feel like, based off this conversation so far, that piece is missing here. That piece is widely missing. that rightfully so, resistance fighting is going to come about when you are an apartheid state. Again, rightfully so. I believe it is rightfully so that this happens. So that's just...
Casualties are enough for it to be like, oh, we're done.
This is time for a ceasefire.
Why do the Israeli hostages look better than all the Palestinian children? All the Israel hostages that are being released have gained weight.
Seen videos of
I've seen them starving every day and eating fucking animal feed. Yes, I have. I follow journalists and
big yikes.
There has to be a way to meet in the middle ground.
They've offered proposals.
That's kind of what I'm going off
But do you think Hamas is coming where they're operating in civilian areas, where they're the ones sending rockets, where they went into a rave and took hostages and raped and killed them?
Do you think
that they're?
I'm not here to justify the actions of any political party. I'm speaking from a humanitarian perspective.
Well, Hamas isn't a political party. They're a terrorist group. PLO is the political party that we recognize.
Separate from their...
Well, no, Hamas was a political party. They were voted in. So I would disagree that they're not a political party. They are a government.
This war ends right now if Hamas gives up the hostages and...
I don't think so.
No, it doesn't. That's baloney. And the only people that say that are people that don't understand the history of the region pre-October 7th. This isn't the first time, even pre-Hamas, this isn't the first time Israel's striked.
But this is a hot topic issue for a lot of people and a lot of places that matter. When an election of 340 million people comes down to a couple 100,000 votes on swing states and getting that to win the electoral vote,
and again,
I think it matters.
But Biden won Michigan by 250,000 votes.
That's what I'm saying, is that, and across...
So 100,000 voting uncommitted, it's not gonna do it.
No, I mean, that's raw numbers, but these are people who are citing that they're voting uncommitted because of citing this, but 250,000 people across 6 different states pledged to vote uncommitted for it, along with areas in Chicago and all that. So that's kind of what I meant.
Are you willing to risk a conservative...
Real quick, the idea that like America wants to support Israel because they're our ally is nonsense. Okay, just FYI, we want to support Israel because they give us a capitalist foothold in that region. Let me see if I can find this quote from Biden. Yeah, here it is. Here it is right here. Just always remember, everything's
If we look at the Middle East, I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
There it is, folks. It's not about us being Israeli allies and that we want to help Israel because of some moral thing. It's about it protects our interest in that region. That was true then. It is true now.
Next prompt. Biden's health is poorer than Trump's. Will the agreeers step forward?
Yeah,
Was that
fucking
health
obviously.
as in like health?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously.
I think it's pretty obvious that Joe Biden is an old man, and I think that's not necessarily an argument against him, but you just have to be real with the situation. I think kind of when we get so heated in a political discussion, we kind of want to avoid hard truths, and I think as an 81-year-old man, he does have health problems that become very apparent when he has to go through long stretches of time talking.
I was just going to say, I think...
I do not care about physical health at all. I would rather have Stephen Hawking at the seat of the Oval Office. But when it comes to health, I think of more like mental health. And I think that Trump is more delusional in a sense. And as a person, I wouldn't want him, a delusional person that only cares about himself, running the entire country. And when I compare him to Biden...
this is the difference. Okay, this might catch me flack here. I don't think Trump is delusional. When we're talking about, I don't think Trump believes he won the election. I think he knows he didn't. I think that was why he tried to overthrow the government. Right? I don't think Trump is delusional. I think he's a fascist. I think Trump knows everything he is saying. Well, that's not true. That's not true. I think he's dumb. Let me rephrase it. I don't think Trump is delusional. I think Trump is dumb. I think he's stupid. like legitimately. I think the reason he doesn't answer questions well is because he's dumb. He always has been, though.
I love Obama, and I wish that that Joe Biden could speak like Obama. But the difference is of what the.
I mean, all the NSA shit came out around Obama's time. So, like, you know.
I would rather go with a guy where we know where that's coming from, who also we can look at his policies. If you're rambling and you have sociopathic behavior, and if you're talking about basically doing things in terms of a dictatorship, but then you're also the type of person that reverts and doesn't even stand in alignment with what he says when it comes to his own party, that is extremely problematic. And so I know where this is coming from with Biden. I don't know where this is coming from.
But hold on. I think we need to address something here. I don't think Biden's decline is and I've mentioned this before, and it's not that I think they're saying this, but I think this needs to be said. I don't think Biden's cognitive decline is because he's like got dementia or because of like poor health. I think he's old. When you are old, you have a cognitive decline. This is just kind of what happens. The older you get, the harder it is to remember things, the harder it is to like. The reason why I don't buy into the Biden cognitive decline thing is every time Biden rambles or every time he flubs a speech or anything like that, he always corrects himself at the end. Like when he called Zelensky Putin, he was like, oh, I meant Zelensky, right? He was talking about Putin for 3 minutes. So then when he went to say Zelensky, he said Putin, right? This isn't I wouldn't even call that an old thing. I've seen young people do the exact same thing. You've seen me do it.
So let's not get into COVID. That was a lie meant to depopulate us. Look up a genocide.
Well, regardless, the man still almost died.
It'd have to be a different episode.
I had COVID. It was not a lie.
Almost died. And I have yet to see a Joe Biden in his age. I have yet to see him have that type of, with his cumbersome schedule and everything and all of the stress. I have yet to see that kind of thing happen.
That aged so bad. Yo, that aged like fucking milk, bro. Because you know they filmed this before. They filmed this months before Biden got COVID. So that aged like fucking milk.
Our last prompt. I think Biden has a chance to win the election. Will the agreeers please step forward?
I don't like him.
Not no more. Not no more, you don't. I don't even feel like I need to watch this question. It doesn't matter. Everything they say does not matter at this point.